Welcome to MMAsucks.com, the the podcast that thinks John Jones won all 5 rounds. Uh, Normally, I say the show that goes full retard. That's saying Jones won all 5 rounds would be full retard. Uh, okay, well, we plan on having Luigi Fioravante on tonight. He had some computer difficulties, so we're going to bring on Nemesis Fighting Champion or Alliance or whatever the fuck he calls it. Promoter Beejay Smith, and he's going to talk about his upcoming fight, some interesting drama that involved one of his fights from about a year ago. We're going to get into all that later, but first, Johnny and I are going to go ahead and go over the UFC. Uh, so we both got to watch all of it. There was some really, really good fights, and some little ones that a couple of them that really broke up the pacing of the show. There was it would be like great fight, and then all of a sudden 2 snoozers, and then all of a sudden great fight. It's like the whole card was quite bipolar, but on the whole, it definitely was worth the Saturday night to watch it, and I enjoyed it. How about you?
I loved it. It had everything. It had knockouts, had weird knockouts, had great submissions, guys going to sleep. I was pretty impressed with the entire card. There were some great grapplers, and guys were going to sleep from it. Mitch Gagnon fought and had a great submission where he put another high-level grappler just unconscious from a deep arm and guillotine that nobody thought he had. So
that was really. I mean, yeah, he certainly he certainly led the charge with some vicious punching. They got an exchange where Mitch was getting the better of him, landed some brutal body shots. Then all of a sudden, Dustin Kimura came back with a couple of shots of his own, back Mitch up. Mitch said, "Okay, well, it's not going to go down like that." Then re-engaged on the stand-up. Put a couple another hard shots into him and was able to grab up that submission, drop into the arm and guillotine, and then pass him out. It was really, really quite good. I mean, knowing how good Dustin Kimura is, if you watched his fight against Chico Camus, you really got to see a quality show of just versatility and submission and the way that he was able to climb the back. Set up all kinds of omoplata attacks, triangle attacks, and then eventually get Chico's back and choke him out.
Yeah.
He was a very, very legit grappler, and coming in at was it 11-0 or 12-0? He was a solid, well, not a super duper favorite, but definitely was favored in this fight as far as Vegas was concerned, and Mitch came in there and got the win, man. Just kind of got in there, got him to sit there and trade and turn it into a firefight, and he came away with not only the victory, but he got submission of the night too. So he got an extra $65,000. So
that was probably one of my favorite fights of the night, honestly, because I mean you don't see body shots thrown enough in MMA, and they're fucking throwing body shots left and right. Great liver shots. Gagnon got hit with a nasty liver shot, and I do think if he didn't let him get him to the ground, that fight might have been finished. The guy could have touched him again and near the liver, hit the body again where it put the percussion on it, because that liver shot was nasty. I said it was over probably 3 or 4 times during that fight because of how hard they were getting hit in the body and crumpling up, and then they're coming back. It was just a great fucking fight all around. So I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Then we got Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson back in the win column against a tough fighter in Chris Clements. Obviously there was a highlight reel knockout in the sense that that the way that he fell or the way that he stumbled backwards, where it was almost like he got hit, but Chris was so damn tough that he just stayed in there and kept fighting, but his body was shutting down slowly, and then he got hit again, and then finally it dropped, and he kept fighting. I mean, it was he certainly had not stopped trying to fight. It was and that's why we have the referee in there, obviously, because some of these fighters are so tough that they're not going to roll over, and their body's going to tell them to keep fighting, and unfortunately that's in the long run what creates the create some of the long-term damages that we see in boxing and things like that. Guys are so conditioned, they're so physically tough that they can take those shots and try to recover.
There were some strange knockouts in on this card too. I know you didn't see the Facebook, but they pushed one of the Facebook cards over to the main event. John
Yeah,
McDessie
I saw the Madesi fight.
the
Yeah.
McDessie fight was really good fight too. I mean, it was one of those that they had to watch it 3 or 4 times to figure out what happened because it was such a step off angle, catch him while he's coming by. It was like a matador to bull the way he knocked him out.
Well, he just clipped him right in the corner of his jaw right there. It was like right that space between the jaw and the ear. It seemed that's where he made his contact, and it kind of just glimpsed off, but that whole thing just shifted right over.
Yep.
And with those little gloves, man, you get that contact right there. And I might have been mistaken. He might have caught him up a little bit more by the temple or up by the ear.
You saw the percussion come out the other side.
Yeah, you did. You saw that, and that's why I was saying I thought that he hit him right by the ear because it looked like it shifted evenly out on the other side of his head. I guess he could have hit him up here and then it shifted down, but I would assume it would have been right here. But yeah, that was a great fight, and Madesi's a real skilled kickboxer. If he's matched up with the right fighter, who really just pieced him apart his last fight?
Oh shit, who was it?
What was it? Was it Hallman? Did Hallman drop down and fight him? I know that.
That might be right. We'll wait for our fearless producer to pop up. I remember McDusty was the one that fought our local.
He fought Watson, fought Kyle, and hit him with that spinning back fist.
I mean, it's one of those moves that it's hard to train for if somebody sets it up right. Once you've seen it a bunch of times, I don't think that was thrown at Watson enough that he saw that coming. So, but again, I'm biased because I like Watson, but. That was just a beautiful.
Everybody does. I think Madesi probably likes Watson too. He's really a likable guy.
But I mean, it was just one of those things. He just got caught. It's a the momentum that comes from a spinning back fist. You can not. I mean, look at King Mo and.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. King Mo tried to Philly shelf a spinning back fist and got drilled.
So I mean, it's just such a hard punch, and I mean, McDessie is so talented that. He can pull that shit off and fuck people up with it. So,
okay, he has multiple losses. It seems he lost to Angiaquani too, who's just a devastating striker, and Dennis Hallman dropped down and got him. I knew Hallman got the better of him. Interesting, with Hallman jumping between divisions. I watched his fight against Dan Hornbuckle, and it I just don't know, man. Sometimes Dennis Hallman is the on top of his game and looks like to be the guy who could he's the spoiler that could take out anybody, not unlike Pat Healy. But then some fights he's just like he's a little slow. He ended up getting the decision against Dan Hornbuckle, but that also had to do with a point being taken away, and that kind of that wasn't
really long ago. Yeah,
no, that was the same fight show that Alex White fought on Titan.
I think Hallman, from having so many fights that he has, I think he gets really bad. He gets really bad injuries. His body had to have taken a toll on all the years was fighting. So I'm sure that.
Oh yeah,
during camp he gets busted up, and sometimes he comes in. I think that I would say that's the big reason that he comes in on or off. It has to do with injuries. So Chad is asking about Wineland and Barao. Another great fight. Another funky knockout. So.
Oh, before we get to that, I like to step back to the Wonder Boy fight. I haven't seen any gifts because everybody's showing the knockout. No one acknowledged the fact that when Wonder Boy went to go throw a side kick at him, Chris Clements dropped down and threw a spinning wheel kick to his leg, fucking Mortal Kombat style, and knocked him down. We are getting fucking video game maneuvers in MMA now. I mean, somebody has to do a GIF of that. That was amazing. I was like, and then it kind of got lost in the shuffle of the knockout and everything like that. And it's like, oh shit, Wonder Boy's looking great, blah 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 blah. But it was like that was bad ass. He threw a side kick and he dropped underneath it. Heel kicked his leg out from underneath him. I mean, that is ridiculous. That has to be acknowledged.
Somebody has to start throwing this stuff. I mean, you see it, and then you have to start trying to apply these kind of moves while sparring or wherever. And it may be something he's never done before. I mean, but obviously it's something that works because it was beautiful. And it
Yeah, why
no,
not?
I'm surprised nobody jumped all over that and talked about that as much as any other move. I mean, I
Well,
know it.
I mean, 5 minutes later he got knocked out, so
Yeah, it's
it's
true.
uh,
But
kind of
he did
hard.
pull Mortal Kombat, old school
Yeah, man.
Nintendo.
Fucking down and B, man. Sweep the fucking leg. Was it B or
Johnny
C?
Cage.
I was playing Sega, man. I gotta had I gotta have the blood. I can't play that pussy Super Nintendo version. Unfortunately, I learned later in life that that the Super Nintendo is fucking awesome, and now I play a lot of Super Nintendo and with all the amazing games. Not so much fighting games, but
Since we're
obviously
gonna nerd out a little bit, did you see that they're coming out with a thing that's gonna have Sega, Nintendo, Atari? It's a whole console. It's gonna have like all the video games, and you can use different controllers and everything. All the controllers from all the old school consoles. They're supposed to come out by like December.
yeah, that's a little I mean, you don't necessarily do it because you can buy USB versions of the old school controller and then just play the emulator on your computer. Um, so, but yeah, it would be fun. I actually thought about sitting down and building a cabinet. So I'm thinking about like getting like a MAME system and then building a cabinet, like a tabletop version of it. It'd be a good coffee table piece. You can play fucking Pac-Man on it. Anyway, so we're talking about these crazy Taekwondo, traditional martial art, crazy type moves. Leads us right into what the chat wanted to talk about with Wineland and Baral, man. That jump spinning back kick. It's the Benny the Jet Arquita is fucking special, except he didn't hit him in the body. He hit him in the fucking nugget.
And it wasn't even the nugget is what was amazing. It was like here. And it
it,
just how he hit him, it was I mean, it clipped the head, but it landed clean here. It was
yeah.
amazing.
It probably mostly stunned him and just kind of discombobulated him a little bit. It didn't look like he was completely out. It certainly looked like
He jumped right up.
yeah, Wineland was looking to fight more. Wineland they're fighting for the title. I know that Dominic Cruz technically is still the champion, but let's be honest, Barao is defending the interim title. So, that's the title right now. That's the title. So, he fighting for the title, you kind of got to give him. I know you got to err on the side of caution,
Yeah.
but at the same time, is man, give Eddie Wineland a chance right there. Maybe he comes back, maybe not. What I thought was really interesting is at first I was like, oh man, Eddie is doing well this first round, and then they go back to the corner. And Andre Fernandez is talking to Barao, and he's like, "Okay, man, now you're nice and warmed up. Let's go ahead and start getting in his face a little bit." And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
That's a weird game
That
plan.
would be. Well, no. I could see he wanted him to go out there and just feel him out and take his time because they were expecting a longer fight, and they're like, hey, man, let's take the first round. Not necessarily completely off, but he did take it off enough where Eddie Wineland got that first round. I thought.
Absolutely.
So then he immediately goes out there and starts getting in his face. Like immediately starts scoring points and completely outscoring. In that first like 5 or 6 seconds, I was like, "Whoa, that's a different." That was like a whole nother gear that he didn't show that first round. And all of a sudden, he just like kicked it into overdrive and he just started putting the pressure on. You're like, "Whoa," that was like kind of surprising. I didn't expect that, but then immediately came the spinning back kick and
Almost
he
like
dropped.
baited him. It seemed like he almost baited him. I agreed. I mean, it was the way he came out the first round. I mean, if Eddie was trying to time him or do any of that stuff, and then he comes out and the guy completely flips the switch and changes up his entire style, starts getting his face and throwing different stuff. I mean, with boxers sometimes they'll throw different time jabs, so you think you got your timing down, and then they snap off a hard jab that cracks you. That almost seemed like what he was doing. I mean, always feeling him out, but almost seemed like he was trying to lull him into a fight that he wanted, where Wineland would kind of pressure a little more or start actually engaging more than he was planning on doing.
Yeah, I think and I think a lot of it too was he was just trying to make sure that he was good and warmed up by the time he went out there. Or by the time he really started kicking. I think he expected a very long fight,
Yeah.
and so again going out there throwing kind of a surprise, going out there and taking the first round off, which is common. We do see that in boxing. We see it in kickboxing. Fuck, man, we see it in Muay Thai. It's super common, where they'll do, 4 rounds and they take the first round off, go hard the second and third, and then take the fourth round off. And you're like, well, wait a minute, the guy's behind, so shouldn't he pick it up and go after him this last round? And they're like, no, he's got to fight next week. He's already lost the fight. It's no big deal. They're just gonna, take the round off and then on to the next one.
And Barao did the old school Wayne's World swing at the end of his fight for the fight dance. Did you see that?
I saw him dancing afterwards.
Nice
I didn't
cock
sit
thrust.
down. Oh, he did. He got a cock thrust in there.
Yeah, he got a cock thrust in. It was pretty impressive. I was like, they were saying on the Underground that he got like 6 women pregnant or some shit from just this post fight dance.
Oh, nice, so, nice. Yeah, that's a good one. Matt's pointing out that Joe Rogan certainly loves Nova Meow. They're a great team. You think of who they got? They got I believe Diego Nunez is on their team too. They've got Leo Santos. They've got Aldo, and they've got Barao. So I mean, as of right now, they have 2 champions. You know what I mean? Like, when's the last time we've had one team with 2 champions, simultaneously? It just doesn't
and
doesn't
there's guys
happen.
out of Bellator that train Nobu now.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe Diego Nunez just lost his fight. He got knocked out by it was Patricky Pitbull, I believe it was.
So we got UFC and
no, it might have been Patricio. It might have been it was Patricio.
Who else is Novo now? Isn't where's Chandler train out of?
No, Chandler is with Alliance MMA now, and they have. I think
been in the World's Alliance.
Yeah. Well, it's not Jacare's team. It's not Fabio Gigel's team. It's Alliance MMA in San Diego. They're I believe that they have a loose affiliation with fucking Team Date Rape, fucking Lloyd Irving.
That's true though. I got in long conversations with Mike Fowler about that particular argument. We're going to bring that up one of these days and get a nice long chat about
it. Like anything else, man, I'm sure there's a lot of cool people out there that were a part of this whole, like, hey, if we work the system, we can actually make money doing what we love. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of good people involved, and there's a lot of people that got away from it because they got tired of the bullshit, like Ryan Hall. He was a guy that he said, I can't take this anymore, and he, had to go separate ways.
There's a lot of people that leave at the gym too, so.
Oh, at this point, hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look at, the best brown belt in the world right now is fucking Keenan Cornelius. Mm-hmm. And, or Keenan Cornelius or Meow, but we'll go with Keenan Cornelius right now because he's winning everything. Fuck, he's got a great instructional tape. It's funny, my dad's passing it along to me, and I'm like, fuck, man, this fucking brown belt not only knows more than me about jiu-jitsu, but he knows a lot more than me about jiu-jitsu. The kind of thing that I have to fall back on is just like I could probably I would beat the fuck out of him in a real fight. And
Lloyd Irvin is so good at what he does because he really does sound like a piece of shit as a person. From all the stuff that I've heard about him, I'm a fan of his guys, and I'm a fan. I've got.
I'm a fan of some of his guys.
Yeah, Mike Fowler was one of his high-level guys, and I love.
Yeah, but Fowler was around. Those were guys that went to Lloyd to make money.
Fowler was pretty new when he started with Lloyd, as far as I remember.
I thought Fowler was like an accomplished purple belt or brown belt when he went to Lloyd.
I don't think he was that high. I think he was a blue belt and then signed on to the. I mean, I could be wrong. I'll send him a message now.
Dude. Yeah, I think he went. I think when he was a purple belt. I almost could swear that, dude, because I remember.
You could be right, but.
I remember being in a competition with him and us being in different divisions.
I could get him on the show pretty easily.
Oh, that'd be great, man. That'd be great.
I stole him. Little quick short story. On my 30th birthday, he put a note up on Facebook and said, "Hey, I'm gonna be in St. Louis for the night. Is anybody nowhere to go to eat?" And I was like, "Shit!" I was like, "I'll pick up from the airport. I'll take you out, man." So I went and picked him up from the airport and took him out on my 30th birthday. We went to a couple bars. I brought him up to Tilted Kilt when all Rogers guys were there and nobody knew who the fuck he was. It's pretty funny.
What?
True story. I was introduced him like, oh yeah, who?
Fucking white belts, man. Fucking white belts. Anyway.
But
Yeah, okay, so let's keep going. We got Brennan Schaub, I think made up for his little show at Matamoros, went out there, landed some great boxing and then followed it up with a great submission. He really pieced apart. I mean, I'm not surprised that he beat Matt up on the ground, but standing, he was the faster fighter and it was clear and he was moving in and out and he was fighting really well. Brennan Schaub had a great fight.
Unbelievable. I mean, put him on the sleep too, and that's. I was texting somebody that knows Mitrione. I hate to sound like I'm name dropping, but I was like, hey man, he's actually doing pretty good stand up with Schaub. I mean, I thought Schaub was gonna really fuck him up standing up more than he is, and
I didn't think so. Mitrione can bang, man.
He's not technical. He just comes out and gets in your face and throws. And I thought Schaub was gonna be able to. He looked a little bit longer. He looked like he was going to be able to use his range a little bit. And I had Mitrione winning the stand up. He wasn't winning by a whole lot, but I had him win the stand up. And then Rashad was like, fuck this. I'm just going to take you down and sub you. And he put him to sleep. So
yeah, followed it up with the blitz, like a barrage of attack, and put him on the defensive, then switched it up and got the submission. That was a good fight for him. That was nice to see. Would like to throw a shout out to Pat Healy. Everybody in St. Louis is huge Pat Healy fans. He fought a beast. He came in there and he made it a fight. It's unfortunate that John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson had the fight that they had because Pat should be $65,000 richer. And I'm sure he got squared away a little bit. I'm sure Uncle Dana hooked him up a little bit, hopefully.
He did great in that fight. He was I was shocked he was getting taken down as easily as it looked like he was getting taken down. But he was trying to grind him out and trying to finish him. And I was
constantly getting in his face, and it was working. And then he was like, I guess it came out, like the stand-up was failing, and then finally, Thompson, that third round, got in Khabib's ear, and he was like, dude, more wrestling, and that was it. It was it then. Just easily. It really looked like it looked like the tables were starting to turn because he just kept getting in his face, and then bam, just turn that wrestling on, and it's just a different type of style of takedown, and it's a different way of learning. Overseas, when they do, especially Turkey, Iran, Russia, all those places, when they study and when they do their takedown work, again, it's not set up where they have little kids. I mean, they do have, they have competition, but so much about American wrestling is like you start competing at age 5 and it's all about winning the competition where a lot of international training is based on development. So when they're in their 20s, they can compete at an international level. So we get crazy standouts like a Jordan Burroughs, but overseas they consistently have these really gritty, tough, technical guys that because they don't sit there and just pound them, with competition as a kid. Because again, you have a kid that's wrestling at little league and high school and stuff like that. Dude, it's all about winning that competition. It's not about okay, when you get a little bit older, this is going to just pay off leaps and bounds. And the way I can say this, because they spend their entire careers, like high school kids and amateurs do nothing but singles and doubles. They don't learn anything about any upper body takedowns, foot sweeps, trips, anything like that until they're almost in college level, unless you have some crazy standout that kind of picks something up on his own, or that he's working with other coaches and cross training and that kid that's being groomed for something more. But for the most part, they're not learning foot sweeps or anything like that until later levels.
I do think we're going to see a lot of different stuff coming out of wrestling and other sports like that because of YouTube. We didn't have that shit when we were younger. We didn't have where you could just look up wrestling takedowns and actually see them without going to the fucking library. Now these kids can look this shit up and watch it on YouTube and go, oh shit, that's a cool takedown. I'm there all the time. Same as jiu-jitsu, we're going to see this shit too. And there's a lot of 7-8-year-olds that are access to YouTube and can look up high-level grapplers instructional tapes and watch them and pull some piece out of it. I think it's going to be something where that Russia isn't going to have the advantage as much as they used to have in wrestling, or Turkey is not going to have the advantage as much as they used to have in wrestling, provided these kids learn and are able to apply it, you know. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try and say his last name. Khabib, he just out wrestled Healy. I was very upset to see it. And Healy, I think he breaks his nose every fight. His nose was nice and red and swollen.
Tough, man, tough. You know, he gave us a great fight. You know, I feel bad. I wish that fight was on another card so he could have gotten the bonus, because he deserved a bonus on that. Hopefully he was rewarded for that dog fight that was out there, because that was a competitive fight. It was good. Good.
Yeah, and he was trying to finish the entire time. He was trying to get the fuck up and do something, because I mean he looked like he was winning the stand up. He's not a very technical striker by any means. He looks like Frankenstein coming at you, hitting you. But man, was he landing. He was landing good and was going for shit. So I just think he was a little out wrestled and out grappled, and Khabib didn't.
The speed factor too. That first round, he lost the first round on the speed factor.
Yeah, but I mean, he never stopped trying to get in Khabib's face.
Yeah, and I'm not even so sure that he even totally lost that first round. I guess by a little bit, but I mean, it was a very competitive round. I guess that leads us into the final match: John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. It was supposed to be a complete one-sided ass whooping. That's what I thought it was going to be, and we got something completely fucking different. We had an amazing fight. You know, whether. You know, I guess in hindsight, you know, I personally, and I know you're on the same page as me, I might have gotten caught up in the moment a little bit. I thought Gustafsson won the fight. I did. I thought he won 3-2, and I could see him winning the first 3 rounds. He was winning the 4th round, and he got hit with one strike that followed up with a barrage of attacks, but didn't really get overly damaged. Was able to block most of those shots, and that's what people, block shots don't count for much, and then it's like, unless you're hitting body or face, you're not, I mean, hitting the arms and missing, or charging a guy down, or like, oh crap, if he catches him, he's fucked. Well, yeah, but he didn't. So again, how much can you score one exchange to winning the round? And then in the 5th round, the fight was really, really even. Jones gets one takedown. Gustafsson backs it up and stands up. Mm-hmm. Jones lands a couple of head kicks, good head kicks, except Gustafsson completely doesn't react to them. And that, what it tells me, is the same problem that Ernesto Hoost had, is his flexibility was an issue. Mm-hmm. John Jones can get his leg up on somebody who's 6 foot, but somebody who's 6'5" was a little bit of a stretch for him, and he lost power by the time he got his leg up. I mean, you can actually see some of the highlight that they tried to show of John Jones of, oh, he just kicked Gustafsson. Gustafsson doesn't even step backwards, dips into a rear hand uppercut, and smacks Jones in the face, and Jones is the one who backed up. So again, who won the fucking exchange? Well, he hit him in the head with a head kick. Well, looks like Jones was the one backpedaling after he got punched. So I guess it more negatively affected Jones. Now, again, Gustafsson could have kept his fucking hands up a little better, but
he didn't have his hands up the entire fucking fight, it looked like. That seems like just his style.
Better keep that right one up.
Yeah, what I was thinking was, I had a bunch of people argue with me. And if you talked about this to anybody, everybody fucking argues. The thing was, after the fight, they both went to the hospital. Now, the big picture that everybody was showing was Jones on a gurney while Gustafsson has his hat on and a little paper towel holding his head while he's smiling and thumbs up. And while Jones's eyes are swollen shut and his lips are huge from getting busted in the mouth so many times. He obviously caused more damage, Don't say
it. Every week, man. Every week, dude. Every week. You got it.
Man, if I would have put money down, if you said, hey,
I was trying to stay away from the shitty fucking racist.
I knew you were gonna fucking go.
Dan's a racist joke.
but I saw a smirk on your face, like, oh fuck. And as soon as I said it, I was like, oh shit. But no, he obviously caused more damage. He fucked Jones up. They were close to stopping the fight in the 5th round. Jones had to beg the doctor not to stop the fight. I mean, how else are you gonna fucking place that? Bad cut over.
Yeah, but he started. I mean, he started telling him he was fine. Having to beg in the 4th and 5th round, which were his 2 best rounds. Yeah. So again, the fight didn't need to be stopped. But again, I'm not saying it's criminal that Jones won that fight. You could say that okay, Jones won 2, 4, and 5, and Gustafsson won 1 and 3, and that seems to be the general opinion of people who thought that Jones won. For the most part, if you look on the internet, you look at the fan base from I guess you say not super educated, but there's a lot of educated people on like the Underground Forum and things like that. It seems to be about 65 to 70% of the people think that Gustafsson won that fight.
What about the fucking ref that gave Jones all those rounds? Was that Chris Lee, if I remember correctly? Was the not the ref, the judges that gave it?
That gave him 4 out of 5 rounds. Yeah. Again, the whole concept of you got to beat the champ if you want to take his belt. What is this fucking pro wrestling? It's fucking Ric Flair comes in and goes, to be the best, you got to beat the best. Some fucking bullshit like that. That is not in it. Go find a fucking rule book that says, any close round, fucking tie favors the fucking runner. That's fucking baseball, you idiots. That's not. Or go tell that to fucking Beejay Penn in his first fight with Frankie Edgar. You know what I mean? We've seen that not be the case. So for you to, for people to say, oh, well, you've got to really kick the champion's ass. Well, guess what? I don't think there's anybody in the 205 division that's really going to just kick the shit out of John Jones consistently. Guess what? Those human beings don't necessarily exist. So if he loses, it's going to be by he got caught. Or a situation like Gustafsson, the guy's a fucking good fighter. He's a good fighter. He get caught like he almost got caught by Vitor. But again, that just tells you how fucking tough he is. He let Vitor pop his elbow, and he's like, all right, keep fighting.
Anybody that's ever had that happen, it fucking hurts. Yeah, I mean, it's a sickening. Yeah, it's a sickening fucking pain. So, and he just fought through it. I mean, he's a tough guy. If you were to put money on the fight ahead of time, you're the same boat as I am. I didn't think in a million years that Gus was going to be able to do what he did.
That was very impressive.
I didn't think he was going to get out of I didn't think he was going to get the championship rounds at all. Whether I would say he got out of the first round, I thought he might have got out of the first round. Second round, third round were questionable. I didn't.
Yeah, everybody was saying, oh yeah, 2, maybe 3 tops.
Yeah.
He's going to get him down finally, and he's going to put the clinic on him, put the elbows to him, catch him in a choke, something like that. Kind of look what Phil Davis did to him. And, obviously, Phil Davis and is who's down at Alliance as well, down in San Diego. And Gustafsson went down to Phil Davis and said, hey, man, teach me how to wrestle. And obviously they've been good friends and training partners. And if you can look online for Phil Davis's reaction right when that happened, he completely lost his shit, man. Yeah. He was upset. He was upset. He was really well. It's funny too because Gustafsson, they're in the same division. He could have hated. He could have been like, but no, he was like, dude, I'm pissed for my friend. He could have been like, okay, good. Now I don't have to deal with, fighting Gus again for a title and the awkwardness that might happen. But, there's still a lot of life in that division now. I think at least, John Jones has been humanized enough to say, okay, well, we did some interesting fights. We can still, again, Dana's fucking blithering about, well, if John Jones goes out there and kicks his ass, it's going to show that it has nothing to do with John Jones's reach. And it's like, okay, well, no one's saying that John Jones is too big necessarily, or they are saying he's a big guy, but it's not really saying that that he shouldn't necessarily be in the division, or it's saying that it's wrong he's in the division. It's like, okay, you can make the weight, you belong in the division, just like Ronda Rousey. If she make 35, she's 35 champion. She doesn't have to jump up and fight Cyborg if that's not her weight class, especially when she's in the champion in another weight class. So it's not John Jones's fault. What people are really trying to say is that John Jones isn't necessarily a more skillful or not, oh, I should say knowledgeable fighter than the other fighters in the division. He has God-given gifts that he's
Yeah.
using correctly, and it's kind of sucks because they're like, you have all these guys with all these great talents, and they're like, and John's beating him with something that is an intangible that maybe you get it, maybe you don't get it. You know, it's something that doesn't have anything to do. Well, it does. I mean, it does have everything to do with training, but you can't train. You know, you can become a little bit faster, but he has natural excellent speed. He has that. He has 84.5-inch reach.
Mhm.
85, almost 85 inches of reach.
What's
That is
Phil Davis's reach?
uh
Phil Davis is a very long guy too.
yeah, he's
I might
lanky,
have.
but it's not like, I mean, he's around like the same as Gustafson at like 81, 82.
That might be a real interesting fight. That might be a more interesting fight than the Glover Teixeira fight, in my opinion. Phil Davis versus Jones.
Well, well, the one thing I will say is if Glover doesn't get smashed with a knee coming in, like Shogun did. You know, Shogun got hit with that flying knee right out of the gate.
Yep.
Right out of the gate. So that boom, the fight was just a completely different fight at that point.
Yeah.
So if Glover can come out and maybe implement a quick Peekaboo Tyson type dip in and not get smacked with the knee, not get kicked in the fucking knee with them fucking oblique kicks. That I fucking hate that shit. And then he pops up and boom, he lays the hands on him. You know, he's got a chance. You know, he can hurt Jones, but I think Jones will realize that and really try to just draw him into a longer fight. I don't think Jones will go at Glover until later, like after a round or two, and then he'll picking it up.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to throw as many kicks on Glover because he's going to be so worried about the ground, and the ground's going to be a factor in that fight. If Jones goes to the ground with Glover, Glover can sub him pretty easily. It looks like, at least.
He can pound the fuck out of him. He can pound the fuck out of him. You know, Jones is not like some wizard off of his back or anything like that. He's good at getting up, but between Bader and then you got Quentin and a couple of other guys. Glover's proven that he can put people on their back and keep them down. So again,
Bader I thought was doing damn fucking good in the stand up, and Bader's not a great striker against Glover.
Oh yeah, he was.
And then got clipped. I mean, it was a beautiful combination that he got knocked out with, but
it shows the power of Glover.
Yeah.
The rumor was that Glover had a really difficult time making weight, and he came out really flat. I don't know if that's true. I'm certainly not as excited about that fight.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am and I'm not. I
wasn't excited about the Gustafson fight either, though.
Oh, I wasn't either. I was like, dude, we're just waiting for DC to get down to 205. That's all we're doing. We're waiting for Daniel Cormier to get down and have that fight. But again, now it breathes new life into the whole thing. The one thing that really bothered me about afterwards, and even after just kind of sitting back and taking him in, and I'm like, okay, Jones could have won that fight 3-2. Okay, that's fine. What really pissed me off is that all of the statistics that got fudged afterwards. If you guys would have followed online, you would have saw that, or during the broadcast, Goldberg is talking about Gustafson is now landed around 130 strikes, and this was in round 4. So then all of a sudden, the totals, and some of the totals that came out were like 190 to 130, and it was like, oh shit. And then all of a sudden, no, Gustafson missed way more punches, and Jones had way more significant strikes. So then by the next morning, the stats were changed to like 135 for Jones and 115 for Gustafson. And
on one site. What site was it? That was the trick to it, because there's like 5 other
Fight Metric. Yeah, Fight Metric put that out, and it was just kind of like, but that a lot of people go by that, and I'm kind of like, man, what's going on with the fudging on this on the CompuBox? I don't. It doesn't. There shouldn't be so many. There shouldn't be so much difference. Anytime there's difference, people are screaming foul. I mean, and there obviously was pressure for them to give Jones that fight, him being the golden boy. It's the same thing, like that, what just happened with CJ Ross in the Canelo Alvarez and Floyd Mayweather fight. What happened? she called the fight a fucking draw. I believe CJ's a woman, but called the fight a draw. Okay, well here's the whole thing. How much money in Vegas do you think was on Floyd winning a unanimous decision? A lot. Well, guess what? Draw. She called it a draw, so now it's a majority decision for him. Vegas keeps all their fucking money. It's like, and for anybody to, and maybe that was the case, maybe it wasn't the case, maybe it was like an unhappy, like maybe that person just fucked up but when there's that much money
CJ
going
Ross
in
is a girl, ain't she?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So incompetent, right? Fucking Andy Kaufman says, get back in the kitchen and fucking raise the babies and scrub them fucking carrots. Leave the fighting to the men. So, but yeah, there's a serious, issue. Like, whoa, question mark, and maybe it's people making something out of nothing. But at the end of the day, getting punched in the face is a lot more devastating than necessarily those leg kicks. And it's like, even if you look in Muay Thai and stuff like that, they don't score the leg kicks that highly. It's like the elbows to the face. The elbow to the face is the biggest score you can get in Muay Thai. Then it's like knees to the face. Then it's head kicks, and then it's all the punches. Then it's the body work. Gustafsson spent most of his time landing jab cross hooks and uppercuts to the face.
Great uppercuts.
Yeah, I mean, it was kicks.
Those fucking kicks that Jones were throwing. He was walking through. I mean, they looked nasty, but it didn't seem like it even.
And that was his head kicks. That was his head kicks. The leg kicks, he was just doing that little thud shot. And I don't. I guess it's one thing if it's to the quad, but if it's a kick to the top or the front of the knee, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, like, if we're going to call the back of the head and the spine and the kidneys illegal targets, then fuck you, call the front of the knee an illegal target. Yeah. It's lame. It's fucking lame. And then people are like, oh, well, it should be. All right, motherfucker, then let me kidney kick the fuck out of you if you take me down. Take me down to the guard, and I'm going to sit there and stomp on your fucking kidneys for about 10 minutes. And then, and we're not getting a time. We're going to go old school fucking Gracie style. And then we're going to get a fucking stand-up. And then, hey, guess what, motherfucker? I know how to fucking stand-up fight. And now after you're pissing blood, now we'll fight fucking stand-up. It's bullshit to...
They're trying to get rid of the
Beejay, turn your fucking TV down, you son of a bitch.
Marky, turn down Army Wives.
Oh, see, now I feel bad. Your wife's watching TV. How dare you make me look bad in front of your wife?
She don't care. She don't care about you.
I'm sorry. God damn it, BJ.
I mean, foot stomps. I mean, what do you feel about those too?
Oh, I don't really care about foot stomps because they just don't really, I mean, they come up a little bit, but not frequently. Now everybody's trying to kick each other in the fucking knee. And
here's something I was kind of thinking about. When guys put one hand down on the ground and you can't knee the head, how come nobody has stomped on the hand?
That's a good one.
It's something I was watching. I was like, man, why doesn't anybody just stomp on the hand? Man, I
think people are paranoid to bring that foot up anywhere near somebody's head. Guys are getting a lot more cavalier now, going for the shoulder though. That's
I mean, I think it would be something that for sure once you did it once, their hands.
Oh, people would be like, that was a great idea, especially if you broke the guy's hand.
So I mean, they're gonna bring the fucking hand off the ground once you stomp on it once. I mean, your first reaction when somebody steps on here like fuck, your hands comes off the ground.
Back to my point, they're cleaning house now. Keith Kaiser got into a shit ton of trouble. The government's now stepping in, being like, dude, what the fuck? That can't happen in boxing. It can't happen in MMA. So now Keith Kaiser's like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose my job. Finally, after probably millions of dollars in betting was fucking stolen from people who placed money on Floyd Mayweather to win by unanimous decision. The millions of dollars, once that was fucking stolen from them, now they're like, oh okay, oh shit. Now, because it's a government job, so you only have to be, you can be 90% incompetent and still keep the motherfucker. But so now at least some heads are gonna roll, and hopefully that will be cleaned up. But in MMA, man, finding good judging is so freaking hard, you know, and going and taking a seminar and watching some fights is not going to get it done, man. You need to, you know, if you want to fucking, you know, be good as a ref or a judge and then have no martial arts background whatsoever, it's fucking crazy, you know. And I mean, I guess you can learn the game as an observer, but you don't really understand the game unless you've done it. Like, again, you know, I love football. I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Like, again, you know, you sit down and like listen to Matt Mitrione talk about football. The guy sounds like a fucking professor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of a sudden, everybody calls him meathead like he's some kind of idiot, and then you listen to talk about football, and it's like, oh, dude, that guy knows that fucking game.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I hear people all the time. I get in huge arguments about fights and shit like that with people. I'm like, listen, you're some fucking yokel that watches UFC and has no fucking idea. I understand it. I was that yokel once where I'm watching and you get put in an arm bar. Why don't you just lift them out of it? You didn't understand it. You can't fucking do it. Or guys get put in chokes. I'm like, why can't you?
I was watching Here Comes the Boom, and all he had to do was grab his grip back and then pick him up and slam him. That Ken Dietrich guy didn't even know what the fuck happened.
That French guy said all you got to do is hold your grip, and he used to fight UFC. I mean, it's idiots. It fucking is idiots that watch this shit, and it's sad because unless you've been putting it, I've gotten arguments with people where I've just begged them, please come into the gym. I'll put you in a fucking armbar. You try and get out of it. But we got these idiots that watch the fights and then they're commenting on it and they're getting in arguments with guys that have been doing this 7 years. I got a stupid fucking person that was arguing with me today that wants to come in and spar with me. I'm like, all right. It's like, but remember, I'm not coming to your fucking job and telling you I can do better than you. I was like, I've been doing this 7 years. You think because you own a pair of UFC gloves you bought at fucking Dick's Sporting Goods, you know how to do MMA.
Fuck, man, you got to do the old comedian thing where you go, hey man, I don't go to your job and slap the dick out of your mouth. Yeah,
that was said too.
I couldn't decide whether to say that or go, ooh, we got a fucking badass over there, fucking Dan's fucking badass.
You know, you get the fucking shit too.
Calling people out on the internet, man. See, yeah, you gotta come to school like James Benton on that one, man. Fucking dudes, fucking 0-6 fighters calling me out on the internet, and they're fucking their wives jumping, and I'm like, bitch, go make me a fucking sandwich. Or you can do what BJ Smith did and get pissed off at the guy. He called BJ out, and then BJ's like, okay, let's fight then. And or no, he asked BJ for a fight, and BJ's like, okay. And so they went to a neutral show and they fought, and it looked a lot like a schoolyard beating.
It was he fought a fucking kid with Down syndrome. I mean, honestly, that kid was fucking retarded.
Well, I was with BJ the whole time until he just grabbed him by his upper body and flung him to the ground. I swear I thought somebody was going to jump in the ring and start going, World Star! World Star! At least BJ jumped up and kneed him in the fucking body though at one point. Like he reared back in side control and then lifted up and slammed him. You kneed him in the body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like, okay, cool. If he did that, then that's good.
I got mad during that fight, like it was kind of after that little barrage. I was like, you know what? I think the ref's about to stop this, and I trained hard for this, so you're gonna take more of a beating right now. And I kind of got angry.
Yeah, you could tell at what point where you clearly got like this attitude in there. It wasn't like about fighting. It was like that point where at one point in a fight, in a street fight, where somebody starts to get the better and then the other guy starts getting real fucking tough. Or my favorite is, and this didn't happen in that fight, is when somebody, like, guys are wildly flinging punches. Everybody's leaning back with their eyes closed. One guy accidentally hits the other guy. He falls down, and the guy jumps on top of him and really starts letting him have it. And it's just like, you're like, wow, man, it's just
I love the shit talking on unconscious people in those shit fights.
Well, that's the difference between, you know, a person who is treating it like a sport versus you know, street fights that we see, you know, where a professional, even if they're not a professional, will go in and just pick up the pace, turn the heat up, know that they get the quick finish, pop, it's over, then done, you know. But when they start getting when they start allowing their emotions to play too big of a factor in the match. That's a recipe for disaster because unfortunately, as you get better fights, the guy survives that anger that you throw at him. He makes it past that. Then all of a sudden, your ass has a massive adrenaline dump, and now this guy has just matched pace with you, and now he starts putting the heat on you, and you can feel yourself fade as he's pushing harder, and that's one of the worst feelings in the world.
Yeah, BJ.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, it's not. It was, dude, BJ had a grudge match. He had legitimate beef with the guy. You know, it was like the guy talked shit, BJ beat him up, end of story. I mean, it's like, dude, how many fucking promoters jump in the cage and beat people up? I mean, it just doesn't happen.
It'd be nice.
You know?
And it was the weight. It was the weight that I had to get to agree to that fight. I was just like, screw you. I will. I'll take that fight. And,
No,
it was
it was
35
funny.
pounds. 35 pounds in 28 days.
What are you at now?
About 218, 217.
So you didn't keep that long?
No,
Gained
well, I'm
back 25 of the,
yeah.
25 and 35.
Well, I weighed 204 the night that we fought.
So you
Oh,
kept
you
a little
put
bit
a-
off.
Yeah.
So I got to spar you right before that fight. It was a fun one.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. I tried to get as much work. It's funny because I heard through the grapevine, he actually said that he stopped training because I was just a short promoter. So I actually not only kept
It
training,
showed.
but I increased
It fucking
training.
showed in his performance, too.
What was the shit that was going on? Just I know we're fucking rehashing old shit, but what was the shit that was going on? Who was the pro that he kept saying he trained with? That
Tim
nobody's
Baszler.
ever heard. Huh?
No, Tim Baszler, he's a real pro. I know him. My old roommate, Joe Wilk, beat him.
Did he? No, but if I remember correctly, he didn't train with that guy, did he?
No.
No.
He was name dropping.
Yeah, he was name dropping. And then he said that guy wasn't at the show cornering him, was he?
No. Baszler was not there. No.
He was fucking full of shit. So he's training in his fucking basement with his fat girlfriend.
Well, it was funny because afterwards he was like complaining about this and that. I can't remember what was his bitch about it at the
An
end.
illegal
of the day.
knee.
Like,
He said I kneed him in the head.
oh, standing. Even though you kicked him,
Yeah.
you can clearly see in the video that you fucking front kick him and hit him with your shin.
Yeah, it was a soccer kick because he.
Yeah.
I mean, it was aggravating.
I mean, I tried to church it up and put a martial arts turn on it.
no need.
At least you picked a more manly sport than cheerleading, because that motherfucker was a cheerleading kick.
Another thing that got me mad was just he was running the whole time. I kind of got out of focus, and then you were screaming to me, stay in the middle, and then I kind of came back to the zone and held on to the center of the cage, but he was just running everywhere.
Somebody's going to use the ref as a fucking barrier at one point in a fight. They're just going to get behind the ref and move back and forth like they're fucking running around the car. And you're going to get some douchebag that wants to be an MMA fighter is going to do that. Watch.
I don't know. I mean,
sounds like a smart move.
I don't think I should have maybe trained as hard as I did because I was going up to burgers. I was taking privates with Minky. I mean, I was training like I was fighting Anderson Silva or something.
Which you should do every time, though.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I've never trained for a guy and went, this guy's a fucking joke. I'm gonna go have a beer and a pack of cigarettes. It'd be stupid because then you're gonna get your ass whooped by a guy that you think is a joke. So anything can happen in MMA. They're little fucking gloves.
Well, a lot of people are afraid to train that hard to do their best because if their best isn't good enough, then they have to truly admit that they lost or that they failed at something. And it's in all defeats, man, we grow as people. So it's not, they don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't get it, and they don't belong as a part of the sport because it's not right for them. They need to go do something else because it's not right for them.
Well, and like you said, I mean, I did have a legitimate, I guess, inside grudge against him because of what he did, not to my show, but what he did to Dan. Dan's a good friend of mine, and, he let Dan get all the way to the cage. He sold like 40, 50 tickets and then bailed right when, the ref came together. I can't handle that.
After Dan had to cut a bunch of weight to make 170 and all that kind of crap.
this kid's Facebook, I can't remember his fucking name, but it was one of those things that for about a month I'd click on his Facebook. I was like Facebook stalking him because he was so fucking stupid. And he wrote some of the worst. I mean, he was. I remember one specific thing. He was dating.
Nothing can be better than James Mottershead.
This is better. I swear to God.
Wow.
He was dating some chick, and his like this other chick, this other snaggletooth bitch was hitting on him, and he goes, he first right, I'm getting married, I'm having a baby, and some snaggletooth bitch right, I wanted, I fuck you, I hate you, and was fucking running her mouth, and he was like, you want to go on a date? And we're like, wait, what the fuck's going on? And then she was like, I still love you. And he's like, I still love you too. She goes, I thought you were married. He goes, I'll still marry you. It was fucking the most weird conversation where I was reading it. I had to reread about 9 or 10 times. He was a fucking idiot. He had a learning disability. He beat up a guy with a learning disability, BJ. A legitimate one.
That dude's Facebook was the fucking prequel to Idiocracy.
It fucking was.
That was the prequel to Idiocracy.
It's got electrolytes in it.
Well, he made it was bad enough to where I was like, well, I can't stop there. You know, I'm gonna have to fight someone legit just to cancel that one out.
Yeah, that's funny. Anyway. Watch the taste of loser out of your mouth. Ugh, this guy got some loser on me. Yeah, no, I did. I don't know. I kind of think the James Mottershead shit was really funny when him and Shane Moffat were getting into it over, I guess, right after Shane Moffat had fought Dan Baton and had a really nice fight. Good fight on another one of BJ shows. And, good shit. Went to the 5th round, ended in a head kick. It was fucking great. You know, it was a nice little amateur fight where it developed both guys and made them better people, you know, better people by kicking the shit out of each other. And so he sat there and, Mottershead was talking just mad shit about the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get in there and start fucking around. And then basically I pissed Mottershead off and he's like, yeah, well, I bet I could fucking armbar you. And I was just like, I can't remember exactly how I said it, but I think I phrased it like the only way you could armbar me if I was fucking exhausted from fucking a girlfriend. Something along those lines, which, like, I could just go, oh, no, you couldn't. I'm better at grappling than you are, which is true, and everybody involved knows that. You know what I mean? That's not, that motherfucker couldn't. Yeah.
So, BJ, what's up with the new show you got going on?
Okay.
Who you got on the show? You got Shelby Graham. I know you guys are huge Xbox buddies.
No.
No?
No. I don't even know shit.
What's going on with Shelby Graham?
I played Xbox with him once.
What happened?
Nothing.
Who won?
I won. I'm a gamer.
Okay, well, yeah. You playing GTA?
Yeah.
Nice. Is it good?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I'm not usually a fan of those, but yeah, I had to get it, and it definitely has not disappointed. My son loves it too.
In real life.
Yeah. It's safer and cheaper this way.
Yeah, that was our producer, Matt Frazier. Thank you for throwing out that, hey, ask BJ about his upcoming show. That lasted 3 seconds before we were like, so GTA's fucking awesome, isn't it? So video games and weed and pizza.
Casey's Pizza.
Oh yeah, dude. If you're gonna go with gas station pizza, go with Casey's Pizza.
Any pizza, I go with Casey's Pizza.
It's fucking good. Yeah, it's like legit pizza.
No, but anyways,
cutting weight assholes, right?
Yeah.
Who you got mainlining your show?
I just
mainlining. Is somebody fucking using fucking IV drugs?
Yeah, man, I got Damian Newman and I've
seen some of the motherfuckers you had on your show. I wouldn't be surprised if there's been some fucking mainlining in the back of your fucking show. Them fucking Fredericktown fucking shows.
Not in the show, but I wouldn't doubt a couple outside of it.
You're gonna have some guys showing up stoned to the show. It's gonna be good times. Newman. Which Newman? Damian or his brother?
Damian Newman. Eric is also on the show.
Who's Eric fighting?
Eric is fighting Victor Horton. He's 0-1. His only loss is to Pete Dugan.
Now, both of them are fighting at what weight class?
125 for both of them.
So Newman is. I was just sparring Newman today. He was making his 125 debut on that show.
Yep.
Which is where he's going to go pro. So all the motherfuckers that love watching him at Fight Hard need to come to your show to watch this kid. And his last amateur fight, I believe he said, and he's going to go pro at 125. So you want to come and watch him on a rinky-dink show before he goes pro, that would be the time to go.
Well, so it sounds like this is more of a tester for him, so he feels comfortable at 25 before he goes pro.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I had him a fight at 135. You know, even Jenkins approved it because he uses Ariane Zethke, and you know we had it all lined up, and then Damian decided that he was going to go ahead and drop to 125 if he fights in October. After he fights in October, so you know I was kind of bummed, but you know.
I'm a little bummed that those two aren't gonna be able to fight. That's a real good fight.
Damian wanted to fight him on because he wanted to do the last show on your show as 125, which you can't. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Dude, he's got career plans. He's got career plans. That makes sense.
But he wanted to fight Ariane. He wanted to fight Ariane on Fight Hard. Ariane's not going 25. So it'd be pointless to go 25 on Fight Hard to make sure he can make it when they already have all shit going, and then go 35 to fight Ariane. As much as I wanted to see that fight too, I like Ariane, great kid. I know he listens to the show as he's doing his chemistry AP or the fuck he said. But at 25, I mean, Ariane needs to go to 25 anyways too. He's not a big kid. He's not. I feel like I'm bigger than him when I stand next to him.
I don't think there's any rush though.
No,
I don't think there's any rush for him. I don't think he needs to be tearing his body up. He's got a lot going on in his life.
Yeah.
He's got school. He's got all kinds of cool stuff going on for him. So he's got nothing but a great future. You know, the cool thing about this with Damian, you know, going pro, you know, well, now he's not really an issue because by the time, you know, Arian's wanting to turn pro, he'll probably have wanted to get through school so he can really kind of dedicate a little bit more time to it or focus on his life plans. Hell, you know, Damian's probably we're going to bang out a couple of fights. He might be fighting somewhere else. So now, you know, now you've got another training partner. Now you've pulled, or now you have a new tool in your toolbox, which is you've got, the king of snot, the fucking guy, the guy who just doesn't give up, the kid that can't be submitted, the Gumby of St. Louis, you know. And packs a good punch too. So you've got that guy that could potentially be a cool training partner and a friend to work with, you know. And in pooling our resources, you know, you got Damian, you got Dan, you got the Sample and Alp, you got Ken Porter, you got a bunch of different other guys that are around that weight. And now all of a sudden, you know, if you really pool all the resources in St. Louis, you could see that St. Louis can be a force at that 115, 125 range.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, whoa, that's a surprising one that guys can make waves and get some heat behind the area real quick. You know, you saw, I mean, Sampo, what he did, you know, lost to Campuzano and then turned around and became one of the best, you know, became one of the a top 10 fighter in the world. Just that quick.
I mean, Newman's little brother also provided he does, I mean, if he can do in the ring what he does in the practice room, the kid's a freak. He really is. He's as good as Damian, in my opinion. He's not as big, and he'll probably go to 115 if that fight card that opens up in St. Louis a little bit, because I mean, Aspire's doing their first strawweight fight coming up between McDonald and Latchman. That would be a great.
Nobody fucking cares about that corrupt piece of shit organization.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Fuck Spire.
But Newman's little brother, I don't know what the fuck is. The older brother got kind of screwed. He's kind of chubbier, and you got the two littler brothers that are long, skinny, and very tough to spar.
Well,
Jason's very good too, but
Jason could fix that situation real easy. You know, it's called vegetables.
Put
fucking vegetables. Down, put the beer down and eat a chicken breast. Oh,
I
that
think
Pat
that
goes
I
a long
think
way.
that both the Newman brothers fucking eat shit. The younger Newman brother and Damien both eat
Oh,
shit
of
constantly.
course.
And then Jason just got bad genetics on putting on weight. I mean, those two little guys, I love sparring them. I mean, they're probably two of my favorite sparring partners. They're so fucking long. You can hit the shit out of them like they're a punching bag, and they don't stop coming at you. So,
Bear, shut up.
you
I got a
get
pit bull
zap
barking.
um, but you can punch the shit out of both of them. Both of them are decent wrestlers. Both of them are fast. I'm not a striker, obviously, so I don't hit very hard, and I'm mostly a grappler. But I'm gonna try and take them down. And
You key out really hard when you spar, though.
Yeah, I do. It's my nice. I did taekwondo when I was 8.
He does
And
when he boxes. Yeah, if you ever seen Dan box, he kiosks when he boxes. It's great.
Where did you see that at?
Huh?
Where did you see that at?
I don't want to say.
Now I'm nervous. Was I wearing clothes?
You were no. It was just sparring on Sunday.
Oh, okay. We already talked about that. That's no big deal. But yeah, I yell a little bit when I throw punches. It's how I learned how to throw punches. I hit harder that way. I swear to God.
I had fun sparring you. It was a blast.
I learned it from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, dude. Hold on a second. I'm gonna send you the link over the fucking chat in this right now, so I could so you can watch that. I pulled it, but I can't get the English subtitles on the new Dragon Ball Z movie, so I'm gonna send you the link right now on the chat.
I'll watch it like that. We're nerding out again. I bought all the Dragon Ball Z seasons right after we started talking about it. I was like, shit, I ain't seen those in a minute. And none of them work on my TV. I was like, fuck.
Oh, man, that sucks. Do they work on your computer?
Yeah, I just got to come upstairs and watch on my computer. So I just got to get time to do it. It'd be nice to go to sleep to that shit at night, have badass Dragon Ball Z dreams about me beating up Frieza or me getting killed as Krillin 9 or 10 times.
You got to come out as Krillin.
That's my toss-up, though, man. He got killed so many times in Dragon Ball Z. I'll be the first MMA death in St. Louis just because I came out as Krillin.
Hey, you'll make headlines.
My wife and daughter would love that.
It just get a bunch of fucking health insurance, and it'll be good. You don't worry about it.
But
fuck is going on?
Anyway, what else? Who else is on the card, BJ?
I'm pretty sure for our co-main, I still got to talk to Steve a little bit more, but he gave the okay for Justin and Brandon to go ahead and fight for that Spire sectional. Me and Patrick talked about it.
I don't even know if I want him to fight.
Well, don't tell me here.
Did you just forget about he's the coach of the other guy?
No, I don't know if I want him to fight for Spire. That fucking corrupt organization.
Let's get into it. Talk it.
We'll wait a couple minutes.
Hold on, I gotta find this fucking link first,
bro. We talked enough about your fucking show. Anyway, where's your wife at?
Can you not? Yeah. Can you not? Do you not want to talk about have an opinion on the whole thing? BJ, do you not want to have an opinion on the whole thing?
Oh no, I'll talk about it.
Okay, so if people don't know, because I'm looking for this link, bro. Can you Dan, can you go ahead?
So anyway, Dane Bush and Jason Powell fought. I'm friends with both guys. Love both guys to death. I knew it was going to be a great fight. I didn't go and watch it. I watched the UFC at home. So as I hear it, Dan Bush was doing fantastic in the fight. Had Jason Powell in trouble at a lot of points during the fight, and people gave him the first round. Second round comes out. He, from what I understand, the mat was real slippery. Everybody was having trouble, and he almost fell into a heel hook. Now, that's one side of the story too. So, basing it off of that, he landed in a heel hook, which we've talked about before on our old old radio show that got banned from the internet. Heel hooks are illegal in Spire. We argued our points about it because they're no different than other submissions. You're just not allowed to do twisting leg locks. Odds are they're popping the heel as opposed to really tearing the knee. Jason Powell won via heel hook. Now, I immediately went, wait the fuck, I thought that was a Spider show. It was Jason gets DQ'd as opposed to a no contest or doing something else with it. So he has a loss on his record from doing an illegal move that is legal on every other show. As a pro, I used to do heel hooks constantly. It was legal when I was an amateur. We never had the issues with it, and I just kind of call bullshit on it because they're giving him a loss in a fight that he landed a submission. Bush didn't protest it at the moment. The ref fucked up, and it wasn't Powell's fault really because the ref could have been like, hey, let go of the cage, let go of the heel hook. You threw a bad knee. Is his leg broken? No, stand the fuck back up and fight. That's my take on it, and that's what I think should have happened. The fact that it didn't is pretty much a travesty to put a loss on an amateur's record. Now, I know it's amateur, and people look at it like, well, who fucking cares? Well, then why do it? So,
well, maybe Jason Powell fucking cares. My opinion on this is Jason Cooper is overplaying his hand. He doesn't have the ability to change a decision in a match like that when you don't have your referee ruled it a legal submission and awarded Jason Powell the victory. Jason Powell's hand was raised by your referee. So your referee fucked up. Only thing that you can do is go back and call it a no contest. You don't have the ability to go, your referee said that it was a legal submission. Then you go, oh, well, no, I went back and watched the video. You don't have fucking instant replay. You don't have instant replay. You can't go back and fucking change it. All you can do is say, okay, it's a no contest. You can't overturn it and DQ a fighter because your referee fucked up. At no point did he injure Dan. He didn't hurt Dan Bush. He didn't, so if anything, your referee just made a mistake. So it's real simple. Call a no contest, then rematch him.
Here's another thing to look at. Dan Bush has fought for Berger. He's a friend of mine, and he could have easily said something. I put him in heel hooks. He knows what the fuck a heel hook is. It's not like he doesn't. He could have said, "Hey, this is illegal," or tap and go.
We have two fighters that have a ton of fights between the two of them. They both know what heel hooks are. They both used heel hooks extensively. It's not like they're being surprised by that. I'm not even talking about the ruling yet. I'm talking about Cooper overplaying his hand. I don't think he has the right to be able to go in there and be like, well, it's my federation. Okay, well, fine. If that's your federation, well, then the rest of us won't necessarily have anything to do with it. I don't want to extend it to that level or anything like that. But again, I could see this having you're overplaying your hand. Call it a fucking no contest. Take a fucking step back. Don't go, I said that heel hooks were illegal. Now, even though my referee is the one that fucked up, the referee that I approved made the mistake and didn't fix the situation immediately. He declared the wrong person a winner. I'm going to go back and change that result. You don't do that. You can't do that.
If he was, you can't do it after the fact. Where's that in the rule books that you can do a DQ after the fact off an instant replay, which we don't have in MMA? You can go back and go no contest. That's what UFC does.
You weren't there, so it's based off of what your commissioner or on-site judge or your on-site affiliate did. So whoever was who was ever cage side, that person can step in and say, no. The rules were broken. We have to go ahead and rule this a disqualification. Or they should have hollered at the referee and go, stand him fucking back up and go back over. And there's some good photos of it clearly being a heel hook. He clearly broke the rule. But I'm saying that's it's not something that you can disqualify a guy over because the referee and your rep made a mistake.
It wasn't brought up until the next day.
They were the ones that were supposed to catch that. Yeah, they were supposed to catch that. They declared Jason Powell the winner. Your referee declared that a legal submission.
Who was the ref to that fight or to that show?
They say Francis. I wasn't.
There's been plenty of fights where Francis has done a great job. If it was Francis doing it, there's a lot of times for all the reps and stuff like that. I mean, it was just a mistake. I just think that Jason's overplaying his hand. I think Cooper's overplaying his hand on this. I think that he needs to call it a no contest and just fucking rematch the guys. And then, does Dan really want the win that way?
No. And
No,
he's
of course not.
the most cordial motherfucker about it too. He's like,
Yeah,
I
and
want a rematch.
he carried himself. Well, he carried himself really well about it. If you look at the Knuckle Junkies page on on the internet, not Facebook, but Dan posted on there and said, "Hey, heel hooks and amateurs, I approve." And then all Dan said was they said in the rules meeting that heel hooks were clearly illegal, but hey, whatever, I can't remember how he said it. We say, get in where you can get in, whatever, he said something like that, which was not. He could have gone on there and ranted and raved, and he didn't. So he carried himself really well. And he deserves a rematch too. He deserves a rematch. He deserves to, if he feels like, hey, I was well on my way to winning that fight. I want a clean win out of the whole thing. And I think, Cooper can't turn around and just go, hey, I'm going to do that. And if he's going to go, okay, well, fine then. Yeah, he can. Okay, well, cool. As and I'm the guy's fucking friend. As a coach, I'm going to say, well, I'm going to have to go ahead and sit out.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go ahead and not fight Inspire.
And one of our guys was cornering Dan Bush for his fight, and he goes, I couldn't tell it was the heel hook from the angle I was at. He looked like a straight ankle lock. And so it's one of those things that the two fighters should know. The refs in there, even the coaches, I can't tell. The refs should be able to go, hey, what the hell? Or ask the fucking fighter, hey, what happened?
Well, I want to see on Spire's bylaws. Let me see the Spire, bylaws of where they have 50, 60 pages of rules and stuff like that, where it says that a commission can come in and look at an instant replay and make a call on a judgment based on something that's already been ruled upon. And yeah, you can, like in the UFC where they'll have situations. Look what just happened with Manny Gambarian and Cole Miller with the finish right there, where now Cole was saying, hey, technically, if the referee didn't rule that as an illegal strike, he didn't call it as an illegal strike at all. It wasn't an illegal strike, but then somehow Manny got 2.5 minutes to recover. Essentially, that makes it a TKO. So and then Manny comes back and
edges a decision.
Edges out the decision, even though it was kind of a questionable decision anyway. And so now, Cole's now going through the process of appealing and things like that. At the best, he's going to get a no contest. He's not going to get an overruling like, oh, no, you're right. Manny was done at the end of the round. You win by TKO. If the UFC is not going to do it, fucking Lord Protector Cooper doesn't need to fucking step in and start making judgment calls like that. He's overplaying. And so the chat wants to ask about they say that it becomes second nature to go after submissions that are illegal. If you're constantly in the gym training. Well, yeah, if you're at Naga, anybody who's got 20 fights in the amateurs is probably not fighting novice Naga. They're probably fighting, intermediate, advanced, something like that, where heel hooks are allowed. So if they're a local grappling tournament where, there's kids competing from age 4 all the way up to, men in their 50s competing, and they're throwing heel hooks, but in this sport where we can punch each other in the face, create concussive damage, we're not allowed, and again, it's sending the wrong message. So yeah, okay, so now, amateurs don't practice heel hooks now. So
don't
it's just
learn to throw knees. Don't learn to throw elbows. They're illegal in most of it, and then you're going to go pro, and you're not going to know how to fucking throw a knee or an elbow, or how to block the knee or elbow, how to deal with the heel hook, how to deal with the neck crank. All that shit is ridiculous. If you want to go pro, you should know how to deal with this stuff. If you're planning on never going pro, never plan on winning an amateur Spire belt where knees are illegal to the face, or fighting out of state where they're allowed to do certain shit.
Yeah, go to Kansas, go to Nebraska, go to Iowa, and see that you can full on knee people in the face your first amateur fight. So again, if we want to kid glove this whole thing, we can kid glove it, but let's really kid glove it then. Let's create an A, B, and C division within that ranking where you have to have X amount of wins before you can graduate to the other level. So what's or the C ranking? Oh, okay, well, you can strike standing, and then on the ground you can only grapple. You can't throw punches on the ground. People are like, oh man, you're fucking nerfing it, man. It's too much. It's too much. Okay, well, where do you fucking draw the line?
They have that in certain states. You're not allowed to do ground and pound. They have a lot of ridiculous rules in different states that no head kicks are allowed in certain states. Well, Those guys are going to do so great in the pros when somebody throws a head kick. You don't know
and
what the fuck
all I gotta say, and we can say this time and time again, and it didn't happen in St. Louis, thankfully. It happened in other places I went to. When I would go on travel and I'd go train jiu-jitsu at other places, and I was like a blue belt or a purple belt or something like that, and I'd roll into a toe hold on somebody, and they would freak the fuck out and get all pissed off. And I was like, what? You know, because in St. Louis it was common practice to attack legs. I mean, we you know, in St. Louis we attack legs, and you know, across the board, everybody, every single black belt out there, you know, fucking from Ezra Lennon to, you know, a Brazilian Mike fucking smashes ankles. Steve Berger attacks ankles. I attack ankles. So we all do. Obviously Vaggy does too. But I would go to these other gyms and people would be like, that's a fucking dirty technique. Oh, really? Why? Because some fucking silly Brazilian guy fucking told you that he didn't like it when he dropped back and attacked a footlock. Now, I'm the first one to say that attacking footlock should never be a replacement for guard passing and understanding the game. Because guess what? When you get to the brown and black belt level, everybody knows fucking footlock. So you ain't gonna fucking surprise somebody by dropping back on their ankle real quick. Guess what? They're gonna fend it, come up, pass your guard, and kick your fucking ass. So don't be, hey man, I'm gonna fucking game changer when I come up. Now, when somebody applies, when you're a high level grappler who knows how to pass, like Josh Barnett, and you apply ankle locks, now you got something. So again, you got to learn everything. But these gyms would be like, oh no, that's a dirty technique. Why? Because some fucking dude said it was.
The two best guys in my weight division at the Worlds, Bruno Malfacini and Caltera. I've seen them fucking roll around while they have each other in toe holds, and neither one's tapping.
That's what I'm saying, man. That dude, you go to the brown and black belt level, and dude, guys are fucking exploding each other's ankles on toe holds. So, and again, that's a little moot. What I'm talking about is that, you know, for people to say, you know, if you don't want to train something, if you don't want to be prepared or ready for that, and just write it off as like, oh, that's suburban jiu-jitsu. That actually goes into, like, you know, people out in the cities would, oh, you attack footlocks. Oh, that's what they do out in the sticks. Because the guys out in the sticks were training footlocks and they were catching a lot of guys in the city. Anyway, but that dates back into the 70s and shit. But so what you're going to do is, if you're going to ignore those attacks, you are going to become subject to it, and you will get caught in them. You will get caught in it.
And you're not going to be ready for the pros.
And guess what? You know what really sucks? Being a fucking brown belt and getting caught by a fucking blue belt in a footlock. That sucks. Never happened to me. Never happened to me.
I love footlocks. And the fact that they're illegal, when I was an amateur, we were allowed to do that shit. I went for footlocks. I had guys in ankle locks.
Fuck, when I was an amateur, we were throwing elbows and soccer kicks. Whoops.
How old are you, Mickey? You're about my age, ain't you?
I'm 30.
Yeah, you were doing fights before me though. But that was, it was shit that we're allowed to do. You know, it was the fact that they changed the rules, and one place changed the rules. Is that illegal? Heel hooks illegal on other shows? I mean, is Fire the only one?
No.
I mean, putting too many rules on MMA. I understand certain rules. I understand put head stomps and shit like that illegal. I've heard foot stomps being illegal in certain amateur fights, which again.
Oh yeah. I've definitely heard that one. It's like, yeah, okay. You know,
when I fought in Illinois, they told us no head kicks, and I was like, well, that's fucking retarded, and I don't throw head kicks. I ain't reaching nobody's head, but I thought that was retarded.
When Berger fought Carl Schmidt in Illinois back in 2000, I believe it was 2000 or 2001, they could only open hand slap to the face. They could punch to the body and open hand slap to the face.
Pancrase rules.
Yeah, but no, they could fully strike standing though.
Oh, on the ground. That's fucking yes.
And I don't believe that I don't think they could throw any elbows either. So again, you know, we've seen this across the board time and time again, and so I don't even want to, like, I mean, the rules are the rules, or it's whatever. What this situation was not handled well.
Yeah, Jason definitely was fucked up and did a heel hook. He shouldn't have done it.
Right, but that's real simple. The referee goes, "Whoa, stop!" And all Dan had to say too was he put me in a heel hook.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's the referee's call at that point.
It's like grabbing the cage. It really is like grabbing the cage. Slap their fucking hands, like the fuck go. So
Yeah, so we can and not to say that it was just a mistake by the ref. I don't want to, and I'm not even, I'm just having a little fun at Cooper's expense too.
yeah,
They do a good job, and they try to do a good job. I was like, man, you fucking overstepped your bound on that one. I really feel like you needed to go back and call that one a no contest, and because I don't think there's grounds for disqualification. I don't see where in your bylaws says that you can go back and overturn a decision to a disqualification based on video evidence that I mean, wait, so are you telling me that they can do that in the UFC? They can't do that in the UFC. Guess what? Fucking Vegas already paid out. Vegas already paid out, so you can't fucking do that. And yeah, so you can't go around. Decisions have to be made, and things need to be finalized, or they're going to be or they can be overturned down the road. Well, guess what? When you overturn things, it's a big long ordeal, and they typically don't switch the winner. You're lucky to get a no contest out of the whole situation. And so for Coop to come in and just fucking throw throw his weight around like that is cunty.
He threw that 115 pounds around like a badass, though.
Oh, I know, man.
So, I mean, it was just ridiculous. Well, going back to BJ.
To reffing, yeah. Reffing, there's a little controversy going on with one of your refs from last year. A submission that go ahead and set the scene for us.
Well, actually, the same show you were talking about with Baton and Shane. First fight of the night, it was actually matched because two fighters didn't come. Came to a weigh-ins, had everything taken care of, and then didn't come to the show. So I actually matched that fight 12 minutes before the show started, and it was actually a good fight. Brian Borden done his game plan. That was the first time we've seen Cody Shannon do anything. His striking, I thought it was more nerves than anything. He was really bouncy, but Brian Borden done great. And then, second round. Great. Yeah, he done great.
Done great.
But, the second round, they kind of got in a scramble, and, Cody Shannon, starts the omoplata, and I think Brian more than anything stalled, and he just left I don't know what happened. He kind of just left himself in a weird position.
Because you're fucking white belt.
And, Cody rolled it over and then kind of Captain America his neck and started pulling on it. And then Brian goes out. Well, I guess Dustin didn't see it because even I didn't even know, and I wasn't where Dustin was, but I was on the exact other side and I didn't see it. But then then Cody reaches up to an unconscious Brian, just swinging there, and rear naked chokes him while he still got him in the omoplata. And then I think Jim Range is the one that told Dustin, was like, hey, I think he's out. And sure enough, man, he was way out.
Yeah, but from the time you can tell when he goes out in the video, and it is a couple of seconds before Dustin gets in there. It wasn't 10, was it?
Oh, yeah. 8 or 10. It was 8 to 10.
It wasn't that bad.
And that's still not going to do much damage.
Yeah, again, because I've talked to Brian before then, and he's fucking the same dude. I'm not going to say that he's not damaged in the head, but he's the same guy.
It's funny, I said that the other day, too.
And it wasn't so much a rear naked choke as it was he clasped his hands in front of the guy's neck, and it's similar to a gi choke, but he used the blades of his forearms to choke him with. It was a funky angle. It was one of the things that I was at that show. We're in the back room, and we couldn't figure out what he did exactly because we didn't have good view of it. Seeing the video, obviously it was such a weird position. Dustin has fights. Dustin knows what he's doing. I mean, he is a great grappler. And it was just something that he was looking at the shoulder.
Dustin's a great grappler till you put the gi on him, then he looks like a fucking pud whacker.
I heard it's his kryptonite.
Anyways,
yeah, man. Fucking Biondo, last time they rolled together, Biondo choked him the fuck out with an Ezekiel.
fast forward a year.
Fucking 50-year-old Tony Biondo choked fucking Mr. Badass Dustin Severs out. Funny story though. Apparently he caught Dustin Severs in an arm triangle before and choked him unconscious. And he said he was barking like a fucking seal, so they started calling him Father Seal Bark. The father part. I mean, Berger knows about this. The father part came from the fact that he wasn't landing any girls, so they said that he was a priest, so they started calling him Father. And then Father Sealbark. But yeah. Yeah. I just threw that out there because I think Tony Biondo's listening right now. Or at least he texted me and told me he was going to listen. I don't know if he does or not. I'm going to have to check the time on this so I can say, hey, I talked about you beating Dustin up, so now you can go text Dustin and say, you got to listen to it at this time. They talked about me beating you up. I want to egg this shit on, man. That's what we need to do. We need to have an MMA Sucks fucking host grudge match, and we go out there and we commentate on Severs and Biondo fucking fighting.
Well, give Dustin a couple weeks, man, because he's taking a pretty rough thrashing on YouTube, man. That video is up to like 90,000 views right now.
Does he even look at that though?
Oh yeah, he commented on it. Oh yeah.
Well, listen, it's like, dude, Dustin has reffed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fights, man. Okay, so that was a little bit of a flub, but come on. Like, okay, let's just talk about like Dan and I were talking about before. What about fucking Rosenthal, who's one of the best referees in MMA, with Mark Munoz and fucking Weidman letting him take like 40 punches to the fucking nugget, man. Come on, this not to say that we shouldn't try to minimize this from happening, but there's no fucking referee that's going to be perfect. Why don't we show the countless times Dustin has fucking made the right call and fucking saved guys when they went limp for a second and then woke the fuck back up and they're like, hey, I wasn't out. They're like, no, you went limp for a second. I'm not going to let you take any more damage. Fight over. Your fans can fucking hate me, but I'm here to protect you.
Well, Dustin ref my first fucking amateur fight and more than one of my fights. He's a great ref. No, he didn't fuck it up.
Okay, that's good.
He asked me at one point when I was exhausted, tired, if I wanted to keep going.
Will you put pants on?
Or just move your camera over there.
You guys want me to move the camera over here? Please. Just walking around naked. Oh, okay.
No, if you remember correctly, the Brian Borden and Cody Shannon fight was the first one of the night. Well, the last fight of the night was Malcolm Smith against Chad Williams, where we had the exact opposite problem. Everyone thought that Dustin stopped that fight too soon when Chad kind of, he statued Malcolm for a split second. Malcolm jumped up and recovered, but Dustin had already stopped it, and if you fast forward and think in your head, if that fight went on another 3 seconds, would anything have changed? And, I don't think so. I think Dustin made the right call on that one. But he got thrashed for that too,
But even then, we can look at the Eddie Wineland Burrell fight. That was a fucking world title fight at 135, and that was stopped just as quickly as Dustin stopped that other fight. Again, one's an amateur fight and one's a world title fight. Now, again, I don't think Malcolm needed to take any more. And obviously because Malcolm now is fighting at 45 and not 70, so he doesn't. So he don't need to be taking fight. It's unnecessary. He's wasting his pro career with bullshit. That would be wasting his pro career. Just stop the fight. It sucks, but dude, just get the right weight class, get the right fights. You can still be a great pro fighter. Don't fucking waste your chin in the amateurs.
They err on the side of caution, the amateurs, and a choke isn't so bad. I mean, you can get choked out and wake up and be fine. You can get choked out for 10. I've been choked longer than people realize, and went to sleep and woke up in an arm triangle. I'm like, holy shit, I'm being choked. And it was Jesse Geringer did it to me. I was being choked, and I thought I had it defended enough, and it just put me out for a second. And I woke back up, and I was looking at the freaking ceiling, and I look over, and there's a guy still choking me. I have no idea how long I was out. And I tapped, and I was like, hey, what happened? He goes, I've been choking you for like a minute now. He goes, you never tapped? I was like, shit, I must have been out a minute. I must have been out 20, 30 seconds because I remember him putting the choke on. I remember blocking it, which I thought was fine. He got a different angle on it, and I remember waking up. So, and I'm not any worse off than where I was before. So
that explains so much.
Fuck off.
Arion says if Dan comes out as Krillin, he'll bleach his hair and go Super Saiyan. Dude,
That
fuck.
he's
If
coming
you
out
guys
before
like,
me.
hold on. If you guys do this, I am actually willing to shave my head and fucking and paint myself green. And if I can find a Piccolo costume,
Ooh, you can find a Piccolo costume. That'd be all. Man, damn it. Do I have to shave my beard? That's the toss up, though. Can I come out with the beard?
I'm trying to
Maybe
think of
it's,
any instance where he does it.
I'm not joking. I got a fucking Krillin costume on eBay that I'm wavering on. It's like $50. So the beard thing is a
Oh
toss
no
up.
no no no! You know who I want to come out as? Fucking Mr. Satan.
Nobody else is fucking
Yeah, Hercule or what?
Hercule.
Yeah, what? Fuck it, dude. I listen to fucking Japanese, man. I
Why don't you
almost
have
fucking.
your hair long anymore? It'd be perfect for Hercule.
Oh no! You have to get the fucking afro.
Yeah. I was thinking you'd get a perm with your long hair. That'd be
No,
perfect.
I just get like an afro wig and then wear a fucking brown gi and a fucking world title belt. Like I still got
Fuck your
fucking
WWF voice.
Terrence Gant bet me his fucking replica WWE belt in the Rampage Jackson versus Rashad fight, and he bet it to me, and I got Rashad, and so I still got his fucking belt. I gotta give it back to him one of these years. But yeah, I can wear that fucking title. I can wear a fucking gi, a tattered old fucking judo gi that I'll dye brown, and I'll fucking wear the pants and I'll fucking grow the goatee out and everything. I can be fucking Mr. Satan.
I was my daughter was
That's his
watching
real.
Dragon.
That's his real name, guys. That's his real name. It's not Hercule. It's Mr. Satan.
That's the Dragon Ball Kai shit. My daughter was watching Kai the other day, and I was like, I'm gonna
I
have to
hear.
watch.
I hear Kai's actually not too bad because it
It's
cuts
not
out
bad.
so much of the shit.
They cut out a lot. They when Android 17 was killed the other day, they cut out the entire head stomp from fuck. I can't think who head stomped Android 17 when he was getting his head thrown to Gohan. You know what I'm talking about?
I thought 17 and 18 were absorbed by. I think no. I think you mean 16.
16. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. It was Cell.
Yeah, Cell stomped it right before he did his little his shot at his little baby cells.
What's really bad about this whole thing is I haven't watched any episodes of Dragon Ball Z for probably about 10 years.
It's
And
been
I
a minute for me, and
I fucking still know that shit. I know that shit. I know more. I like Dragon Ball Z and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu are almost like I have a longer history with Dragon Ball Z. That's like I'm not even serious. I'm so serious about that.
I'm the same way actually. Now I think about it, I was doing I was watching Dragon Ball Z when I had hair, so which has been a minute, with fucking 8 years, 9 years.
Holy shit!
So I love me some DBZ.
Bunch of dorks, man.
Yeah.
But it's also I mean, it's all about fighting and fucking martial arts and fucking aliens. How can you not love the shit?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, the you got that link that I sent you, right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
pulled it up
cool.
on my other thing. We'll watch it probably start watching it tonight.
Oh, it's good, man. It's good. It's good. Yeah. So okay. So we have a couple other. We had another fight show that happened. Cage Champs fight show. So what the main event on that one ended up being Christian Camp taking the state title against Buddy McGinnis. That's a really great win for him, and I knew Camp had it in him. It kind of it kind of also validates what's going on. Oh, the chat's requesting Marky on camera.
It's gonna be disappointing. She's gonna wear like a fucking bathrobe and green face shit on or some shit.
I should go sneak into the fucking bathroom and find Teresa fucking passed out next to the toilet, fucking naked, except she'll have her
Marcy,
fucking
wasted?
top on and no fucking pants on.
She wasted.
Oh, dude, she's fucking
What are you
hammered.
doing?
Well, it's a fucking
Where you going?
night of the week that ends in a
Nothing.
Y. So
It's my type of girl.
it's a day that ends in Y. So she's drinking.
Anyway, they're talking mad shit on us about being nerds on for DBZ, which
Nerds. Nerds. Oh, one cool thing. I don't know if he's on there. If anybody in the chat can holler at CJ Hunter and let him know that there was a thread on the Underground Forum about a cool submission that a guy got while the guy was trying to spike him on his head. It was like I guess a news feed type show like the one we used to do with Knuckle Junkies when the Ground and Pound show that we were doing. We did like 3 episodes and it was like way too much fucking work. But it's a similar show.
That wasn't the name of our show.
What's up?
That was the name of our show.
No, I'm talking about the original one, the TV show, man, that I was doing. The one that did the Minky Minute on it, that like.
Okay.
Like, I was like.
There's somebody the show we did. I was like, what?
No, not KJ Live. We get fired a lot, so no, but we so it was like that, and they were just showing some clips from some really cool like their top 10 of the week or whatever, and I guess that a guy that CJ was fighting was trying to slam out of a submission, slam out of an armbar, and try to pick him up. They weren't really big slams or anything like that, but try to pick him up like 5 times, dinged him on the ground 5 times, and then CJ was able to finish it off belly down and finish straight armbar. And they were talking about it on the Underground Forum. I thought that was pretty cool, and maybe something that he can try to track down on the Underground Forum, because it's it's always nice when especially as an amateur, to get some recognition, get some appreciation, because they were like, everybody was like, dude, that's fucking badass, so there was some props being thrown. So I thought that was really cool, and and it was especially cool when I was sitting there going, man, that was good armbar. And then it was like armbar by CJ Hunter, and I was like, what? So I didn't even recognize him either.